by the human faculties and limitations. The essential focus of the ancient Egyptian religion is then the transcendence of the human stage and the realization of the true and final state, the divine nature. Divinity is realized by adherence to divine laws, and it confers upon man access to divine or superhuman abilities, the elevation of her mental abilities and talents, and qualifies her to enter into a partnership with God. Meduna Ter, Volume 6, by Ra Nefer. Amen. I am
Double tap on the name of any audio track now to reveal the
civilization, unparalleled to this day.
My mind. I am divine. We're on the chair. And so are you. So are you. It's been said that our ancestors
Man is a divine being, says the Kemetic religion.
said that this
But
world
the
is not
early
for human
part
beings.
of man's life,
Not for human beings, right? Not humanly possible to deal with what we have to deal with in this world. But we give thanks that we are not human beings. We are divine beings. Ankh Ra, Amen Hetep. Now, crooning in the ancestral realm, still with us, a great Osirian who left his mark to inspire us under the guidance of the great Shekem Shekem Rout Nefer Amen. So I want to welcome you. My name is M. Tahuti Kamo, and tonight we're going to talk more about a very, very, very important topic, and that is the winter solstice.
Our ancestors knew the truth. They knew what to do,
I want to welcome you. I see we have a full house once again. All right. I want to welcome Brother Morgan, Betty on the Cave, Sister Elaine, Lenora. Put a one in the chat if you're brand new to us, first time. Peace and blessings, Dawn, Lillian, the ever-present Brother Stewart. One of those day one legends in Osiris said, 15 years. Spiritual work. Yes, you are. Ocean lover. Yesha. Lester. Lillian. Diane. At the pool. Peace and blessings. I am Harry is with us. Carlton. Of course. Second Makaru. Soul Brother number 1. Mary Jane on our YouTube channel. Welcome. Peace and blessings. Seshmi. Seshmi Katam. And we have Yao. Welcome. Kesong T. Joe Nelson. Suleiman. What's going on, brother? And then Kesma'a. Brooklyn is in the house. Mary Jane and now Jack Kim on YouTube. Welcome. Okay, who's here for the first time? Haru Amen. Alex. Sebek 3 is in the house. You're right on time, Sebek Cycle. Sherry and Geraldine. Geraldine. Welcome, Geraldine. You sit in the front row. You're brand new with us. Appreciate seeing you tonight. Auntie Menawas. The Auntie Menawas is checking in from the shipping department. Busy. Yes, what a time to be alive. We are truly blessed. And Brother Todd, welcome. First time. Well, we have a trifecta for you, Brother Todd. If you want to saturate yourself with great wisdom, Mary Jane, first time. You're gonna have Ra'u Neframen 3 nights in a row. Today is part 1. Tomorrow he's going to be on another channel, on a YouTube channel. I'll let you know about that. It's going to be exciting. And then we'll be back Thursday night for course members only to really get down into your questions, support. Yes, solstice is the time to cultivate your mind. So, let me get right to it here. I want to bring to the Comedic Legacy stage a man who has spent 50 years in devotion to his spiritual work and the wonderful discoveries and insights that he's made, sharing that with our community and with the world in the form of weekly lectures, in the form of books, in the form of over 100 musical compositions, 100 musical compositions um, that we use in our comedic meditation work. Now, if you're not familiar, comedic, we say Kemet is the indigenous name, the people from what is referred to as ancient Egypt, some of our greatest ancestors who left the world's longest lasting, stable civilization. We can certainly appreciate that now, looking around at the United States and different countries in the world, how difficult it is to keep a large number of people together and living and working in harmony and peace. But that was the product of their great spiritual discoveries, and they left us written in the books of stone, as Brother Ashra Kwesi says. They left us the instructions, they left us the legacy, but we needed somebody to decode that information and to show us how to live it and how to apply it to our lives. So I want to bring to you right now, let us welcome Ra'u Nefer Amen, who we refer to by the Comedic title for the leader of a nation, because he's not only a spiritual leader and a scholar and a priest, a man of wisdom, he's also the leader of a spiritual community that he initiated now 50 years ago. So we refer to him as Shechem or Shechem, Shechem or Shechem. So let's greet him with the words our ancestors used to convey power, peace, and blessings. Anech Harak. To you, Shechem or Shechem.
Rakadebu, Rakadebu.
Yes, sir. Welcome, welcome. Thank you again, making yourself available to share with us this very important topic. And let's get right into it. So the solstice is an important time. I don't have a written verification, but I think you were the first to introduce the practice of the winter solstice back into the Western world, certainly into the Black world in the United States. Back 50 years ago, you initiated that, and we're here tonight to gain an understanding of why you did that, why that was important, and what is in it for us. What does it mean to our lives?
Thank you very much. And I say peace and blessings to all of you who are present, sharing this lovely Tuesday evening with us in December 2023. And, when we step outside or inside our homes, turn on the radio and television, there is an excitement in the air. This time of the year, people in different cultures and different parts in the world following different spiritual systems and religions, there's a consensus that there's something special about this time of the year. The major religious and spiritual, holy days and holy observations and so on. And going through all of them, the thread that goes through all of them is this belief or knowledge or feeling that this time of the year, the winter solstice, or what others call the new year on January 1st, or the winter solstice on December the 21st to the 24th, some people a few weeks even before that, there is this consensus, spoken and unspoken, that this is the time of the year for the renewal of our lives. You see that? The renewal of our lives. people engage in different efforts to uh, will or pledge, to change their lives. And the reason for this is explained differently in different spiritual systems according to their religious beliefs. But I'd like to give to you, you know, a line of thinking, observations that were made by the Kamo, those are the ancient Egyptians, that this time of the year, you see, this feeling, this belief that it's a time of renewal, and renewal of your life comes from a biological clock, you see, in people's body, mind, and soul, a biology clock. That clock is known very well, you know, in regards to its cycle of the period of the day, the circadian cycle. People have done a study of the circadian biological rhythm in man's being. They know that, for example, all of our, physical, psychical, and mental functions do not proceed at the same level throughout the day. There are times of the day when our blood pressure is peaks, when it's highest, and then 12 years apart from that, 12 hours apart from that, it tanks, it hits bottom. The same thing goes for our breathing rate and volume. There are times of the day when we take in a greater amount of oxygen, and then 12 hours later, we take in less oxygen, even with the same effort. You see that? Our ability to memorize information is best around midday, for example, for long-term memory, and then for short-term memory, cramming is best in the mid-morning times. There's a better time for eating. Our digestive ability, changes throughout the day, cyclically. Eat late, and you will absorb more calories than if you ate early in the day, 12 hours apart, and so on. So it is very profitable to study the circadian rhythms, of our biological clock. What other people have studied and discovered is that they are biological and psychological clocks that operate on a higher period. You see that? So the annual cycle, the cycle of the year, we have this understanding that, at a certain point of every year, there is a beginning of a new year. It's just not simply, that, time on the calendar has run off. It is this clock within us that is, working with our capabilities. That's telling us that this time of the year is best for us to renew, our body, our mind, our psyche. You see that our commitment to achieve things. That time of the year that's better for carrying, out our projects. And time of the year that's best for us to, compose, those projects. This time of the year, for us to get more from our meditations, to get more from our efforts, and so on. And this is what the consensus over the millennia, thousands of years in different parts of the world, people have, noticed and agreed that this time of the year, around the end of December, actually specifically the winter solstice from December 21st to the 24th, is the beginning of a 3-month period of regeneration. The way that people today in this Western hemisphere, the way that they take advantage of the renewal of their minds and psyche to achieve new things or to achieve their goals is basically by making pledges. People pledge to change. people pledge to accomplish greater things, to be more disciplined, to be kinder. People make pledges to change their diet, to improve their health, and they renew their missions and their visions for success. There's this feeling that around the time of the winter solstice and January the 1st for others, there's something within us that is more receptive to the pledge and the efforts to declare a change in our lives. But we all know too well that the mere act of pledging is not enough to make changes in our life. And people blame themselves, when their pledges and their vision for success in the new year does not come true. They says, "Oh, I did not keep up with my pledge. I did not live up to my pledge." You see, and the reason for that is that it's not enough for you to pledge to change, to be more disciplined and more successful for that to take place. Any psychologist will tell you that for you to use the powers of your mind and your psyche, you see, to change your life, it will take more than pledging in one day or in one week. It will take more than just pledging to change your life. And the wisdom of the ages, and psychologists that have a good understanding of human nature, will all tell you that you need a very effective, and professional, procedure, set of things that you have to do, change certain ideas that you have to reformulate and assimilate and so forth, certain affirmations and meditations and things of that nature that you have to put in place in your mind in order to make these changes. So if you want in this 2024 year that's coming to do something that will truly enhance, for you, your efforts to improve your life, your health, your wealth, your social life, things of that nature. If you want to tap into that part of your mind and your psyche that others have discovered that is the repository of miraculous, powers and events. And believe me, there's such a thing as man making miracles by tapping into the powers of the mind. But the best time to do so is this period here, the so-called winter solstice and the New Year's. It's a time to tap in. That's when your psyche is most receptive to not only changing your life, but to manifest those miraculous powers, meaning, things through mental abilities and mental powers. But you will need a professional, well-crafted meditation program, because top of the list of things that you have to put in place, you see that in order to achieve your goals, no matter when you declare them, is to establish a relationship with God. Let's face it, man, we are limited in our ability to understand, to achieve things, to unite with each other. We are limited in our abilities, to our powers to actualize things. And, the teachings of the ages is that if you know how to unite and align yourself to be one with God, then God will be able to assist you in the realization of your goals. This is the foundation of spirituality and of, religion, your union with God. So we put together a course that leverages, the wisdom teachings that will enable you to unite with God, to be one with God, and that requires also for you to purify one of your 5 lower chakras called the Swadhisthana chakra, which is the dwelling place, of your psychic power. You see that? So, so if you want to make this year different from all the years where you pledge to change, we have put together a course, a 3-month course starting now. It's in place now. And if you spend at least 21 consecutive days of meditation with our system, you will see, important changes in your life. You will enhance your ability to make your pledges to improve your life a reality. There's so much that we can say to help you understand, what you need to do and what the winter solstice is all about. And I will take it from here in bits and pieces through questions and answers.
Yes. So, Shechem, the course that you put together is very powerful and comprehensive. And one of the things that you say in the course is that success, we all want to be successful. As you said, this is a time of year when we're not only making pledges, we're setting goals to make more money or change our career or improve our relationship. We're looking for that worldly success. And one of the things that you said in the course is that the most important factor in being successful has to do with our identity, and that this is a time of year to either renew, if you already know, or to establish a different sense of our identity. Could you speak about that a little bit?
Yes, there are two sources of identification in man's being. One is the spirit, and the other one is the soul or the psyche. You see that? So the psyche, our psyche or our soul, has a program that is 500 million years old and has all the programs that enable, the different creatures that have been evolved on Earth to survive. So we have this tremendous, powerful influence within us that, makes up our instincts. It helps us to survive, but not as man and spiritual being, but to survive as humans and animal beings. You see that? So if we keep that identification, where we continue to say, well, I'm only human, I can't help myself, I'm a product of my emotions, my feelings, and so forth, then that identity, will doom you to failure. Above your psyche or your soul, you have the spirit, which is the repository of your divine powers. But your divine powers, your spiritual powers, you cannot work them by themselves. You have to work them at every stage of your life in unison with God. You see that? Okay? So, and people say, I believe in God. God dwells within me and I dwell in God's spirit and so forth. And I say, well, yes, but not yet. You have to do certain things in order for God to come and dwell within you, for you to dwell in God's spirit. It's not an automatic thing. If it were, then, any sinner and cruel and wicked person could achieve things through the help of God. No, God demands that you transcend your lower human self, you see, and adopt your divine identity, meaning your divine set of values, and laws, observe the laws, so you can empower your spirit to not to achieve things by yourself, but in concert with God. So this is the work that we are put these different courses where we have this winter solstice, and earlier this year we outdoored the Mount 11 laws of God, where people learn how to awaken, all 11 parts of their spirit. So this is the important, work that must be done first.
And Shechem, you speak about the divine identity, that it's not just a concept, an intellectual thing, like we could just think, because we walk around sometime and say, hey, God, or we're gods, or it's not just that there's actually a vehicle that supports the divine identity that we need to learn how to work with within the spirit.
Well, identity is the same as self-image. And if you go into psychology and you research self-image in psychology, they will tell you that self-image or your identity is a result of the set of ideas that you've cultivated about who you are and what kind of being you are. But that's not true. Your identity, your self-image is the result of the working of the 11 spiritual faculties within you. You see that? So your divinity is not something that you can just simply, announce and claim because you know this and you believe in that. You have to do certain rituals and observe certain moral laws to awaken the spiritual faculties that oversee your divinity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in the course this year, you focused a lot on the chakras, and well, it's not like it hasn't been done before, but the chakra work that you're giving out, it's kind of unique to the public. You spoke about the Swadhisthana chakra and the purification and elevation of that is in the course. Can you speak a little bit more about that? I know that you released a book not long ago that documented the fact that there's actually 14 chakras, as opposed to it's popular for people to either look at 5 or 7 chakras, and that these other 7 chakras that have been missing are very critical to this type of work, and that you're integrating that into the winter solstice work for everyone to gain an advantage of this year.
Yeah, the popular trend, I don't know who started it and when and where, that there are 7 chakras. If you take the time to Google all the information out there on the internet, you will find that there are 14 chakras. Okay? The other 7 chakras that are ignored, the authors excuse themselves by saying, oh, these chakras, yes, they do exist, but they are minor chakras. Number one, when you study what they stand for and what they contribute to your life, you will find that, they are not minor chakras. You take, let's say, the Guru chakra, right? Which awaken with the mantra Hung, H-U-N-G. That's the portal, the psychic, the spiritual center through which God communicates with you. You see that? God talks to you through the Guru chakra. Yeah, that's the chakra for spiritual enlightenment and guidance and so forth. That's one of the chakras that you will awaken in, this course. You see that? To the Oser chant, almost, Om Oser Hum. You see that? The Om, which is the chakra, which in the Kemetic tradition is the Neter Oser, which houses, you take up residence in that chakra, the Ajna chakra. People say it's the third eye. It's not the third eye. It is a source of holistic perception. You see? It is this is what enables you, total, eternal, and infinite, perpetual perceptive abilities. You see that? And that chakra works hand in hand with the Herit chakra, which is also part of the course, one of the mantras, in the course. And the Herit, is that chakra that allows you to achieve, full wakefulness, and control over your emotions, and your mind when you are in a waking state. You see that? And that Herit chakra is not recognized, in the so-called 7 chakra system. And we can go on and on and on. And of course, I wrote a book called Light and Kundalini Yoga. But in this course, you will learn to work with the Ajna chakra, the Guru chakra, that's the Oser, and the Tehute Neteru. You will learn to work with the Herit chakra, and you will learn to work with the Vishuddha chakra to purify the Swadhisthana chakra. If you don't purify your Swadhisthana, or so-called sex chakra, which is really pleasure control, not sex, pleasure control chakra, you will not be able to free your sense of happiness. You see, happiness is an eternal state of joy that once you learn to awaken and put in place through spiritual observances and meditations, which you will learn in this course here, will empower your mind. That's the source of the power of the mind. People says, oh, mental powers, will you can achieve your goal, but the power of the mind is not in the mind. It's in the Swadhisthana chakra. You see that, okay? And we recognize it by the feeling of joy. The problem with joy is that people, have not cultivated, the joy for peace, which is perpetual and infinite. You see that? Once you're happy from spiritual cultivation, not from, winning the lottery or, somebody giving you a Lamborghini or something like that, when your happiness, comes from being at peace eternally, then all of your psychic forces and faculties, will be awakened, aroused, and they will empower you. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So this course here will lay the foundation for all of these manifestations. And then there are 3 other sister courses, that will be given throughout the year so that you can, empower other parts of your spirit and your psyche, okay, to contribute to your efforts to achieve your success, in this world. And this course has been put together from the 50 years of Osada said, where we have been teaching this material to the community for the past 50 years. And before that, I experimented with them for many years, which enabled me to teach it starting 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So you say in the course, and some of us have heard before, that happiness is the engine, or at least joy is the engine of success and accomplishment, and should not be held ransom to, the things that we have or don't have. But to say that happiness is the engine of our psychic power as well is very interesting, because most of us have heard of psychic power, being developed through rituals or sacrifices or herbs or stones or different things of that nature. Is this a Kemetic understanding that our psychic power is fed by joy or happiness?
Yes, sir. Joy. If you're not joyful, what emotions are you experiencing? Anger, fear, worry, grief, frustration. If you're not joyful, what are you feeling? You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, and so if what you're feeling is grief and worry and fear and anger and frustration, whatever, then you're experiencing forces that are killing you, destroying you, lowering your IQ, forces that are, making you fail, making you sick. The opposite is joy. When you're feeling joy, you are energized, just not simply mentally and psychologically, but physical as well. You see that? Okay? But the thing is that you don't want to let this joy out drip by drip. You don't want to alternate this joy with feeling of grief and sadness, because, it's like pouring water in your gasoline tank.
Mm.
You see that? So if you can be joyful at any and every moment of your life, and it is possible, that has been done, is the ananda of yoga. You see, when the yogi says you have to seek Sat Chit and Ananda, the Ananda is that joyful eternal bliss that you stay in, that blissful state that you remain in. But there are mantras and ways of breathing and certain thoughts that you have to cultivate, and certain control over your mind and your emotions and your psyche that we begin to teach you in this course. See, people believe that happiness and joy, you need to have something material happen to you to experience joy. No, you need to experience joy in order to make material things happen. They have the whole, engineering in reverse order.
Mm-hmm.
You see it? If your happiness and your joy comes from material accomplishment and things, then your joy and happiness is held ransom to things that you don't have any control over. Right?
Right.
You know, you get that car, and you say, "Oh, I'm so happy." Then the car crashes up. So what then? If you lose your joy, you know that car didn't help you. But if you have mastered the secret of happiness and you lose that car, you will still be joyful because now you are in control of your joy. And this is a teaching that has not come to most people in the world. People in the world, you know, they are spirit. They say they're spiritual, they're religion, and they're sincere, but they just haven't been taught the whole truth.
Mm-hmm. And there's a periodicity to this. There's a time to. I know you said this in this course, and again, I want to welcome you if you're joining us for the first time. We're speaking with Ra'un Neframen. He's the Shechem of the Asar Oset Society, Comedic Spiritual Society that's 50 years old, and also the author of over 40 books. Some of the foremost would be the Medu Neter 7-volume set on the Comedic spiritual system. And this year, the Winter Solstice program is rolled out in its fullness, meaning that it's not a 4-day observance. It's actually a 3-month observance that starts very soon on the 21st of December. Is the beginning of the change of cycle, or the observance that prepares you for the change into the winter season on the 25th, and it runs all the way into March. And that's just the first phase of a 4-step process that we call the Oser Ra cycle of realization. So this is a powerful system that we're now rolling out because we have the ability to do that on a digital platform, and also to support your work with a body of priests and priestesses. We're also going to be having group meditations and opportunities for the students in the class to coalesce, to ask questions. And at the end of this, we're going to see, I know we have some questions already, the app that we use. And let me just show you, for those of you who don't know. Okay, it's called Soundwise. And this is what the Soundwise app looks like. And by the way, especially if you're a first timer, this is our free podcast that we have on here. We have over 20 different sessions like this one that you're experiencing right now. But this also houses the Winter Solstice course. And these are all the modules so far of the Winter Solstice course. And on the course, you'll get audio tracks where you'll be able to hear the information. You'll also get text.
Double tap on the name of any audio track now to reveal the accompanying text and graphic information. At the end, your track will automatically advance to the next available track unless you click the loop button at the bottom of your screen.
So you'll have some visual information as well, some slides.
Like any science, spiritual science requires some
as well as written
technicalities.
information.
It is recommended that you listen to the track
assignments.
several times and study the accompanying text and attachment fields. Functioned as celestial clocks for marking critical cycles, including the precise date of the winter solstice. It was considered so
And at
holy
the end, there
that
are
many
the
other
actual
cultures
guided
replicated the
meditation
practice
tracks. So the mantras that are given out in the course, you'll get a chance to hear how they are pronounced, and you'll have tracks to work with to guide you through your meditation. But inside the app, there's also a section where you can ask questions and you can give your feedback. So it's part of a group experience. So yeah, we're excited about that. And Shechem, you mentioned in the course that the psychic chakras, the Swadhisthana that we're working with now in the winter, and 3 other of the psychic chakras are the vessel through which we are receiving the energy of the psychic change, the planetary energy changes, and that's what is determining, what the curriculum is, what we should be focusing on in these various seasons. Is that right?
Well, I don't want to go too deeply into the subject
Mm-hmm.
to make it, difficult for the student, too much information at one time. But just in brief, for example, you said, the Swadhisthana chakra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which once we go deep more into esoteric teachings, we find that every chakra has a corresponding element to it, metaphysical element. And the Swadhisthana chakra corresponds to the water element, which when we study Taoism and so forth, we find that the water element corresponds to the north, and the north corresponds to the winter. You see that? Okay. It also corresponds to the Chinese branch of the rat. You see that? Okay. And as well as the ox, those are metaphors for, the energy faculties, of the psyche, according to the Chinese Taoist system. You see that? So these are activated in the chronobiological, rhythms. You see that? Okay, so there's a deep science, in this, which I'm not going to deal with in this class here because, just too much information that will overwhelm the student. But I'm just mentioning so the student know that there is another much, much deeper side, to this.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's directing your prescription of what meditations need to be done at what time of the year then.
Yes, it cannot be something that you do arbitrarily or just make up or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I'm following the shamanic system of ancient India. I'm following the Kemetic system. I'm following the Taoist system. As you know, I've written books on, Bazi astrology, Chinese astrology. I've written books on Qigong. I've even come up with my own Qigong system, the Ra Qigong in 2 volumes, and so on. So it comes from, working with these systems over the, more than 50 years. 50 years is the age of Osada Set. But I was practicing these things for a good 10 years before that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we can't just, or it's not as easy to activate a chakra depending on what time of year. That's what's enabling us to follow along with the stream of the planet.
You can activate any chakra any time of year, but you will get different effects.
Mm-hmm.
If I work on the Swadhisthana chakra in the summer, it's going to only achieve like 10% of working with it now, okay, with the same effort, displaced.
All right. So at this point, we can take some questions. So let's see here. We have Ebnabu Chas from Atlanta. He says, regarding the recommendation to sleep at 11 p.m., I believe that was mentioned in the last webinar, based on our biological rhythm. Does this refer to standard time, daylight savings time? Additionally, does the shift in time due to daylight savings affect the alignment with our natural biological rhythm?
Any recommendations of this nature has to be based on, sidereal time. There's a natural time, there's a natural 11 p.m., okay, which might be 12 p.m. in daylight saving time places, right? Okay, so, once it is standard time, that standard time, that clock time is close to the sidereal time. So you have to always make sure that you are referring to standard time.
Mm-hmm. All right. And we have Shante Diaz. Welcome. She says she has the course. How do we rotate doing the meditations? Do you do all 4 meditations daily? So there, for those of you that have not gotten the course yet, there are 4 meditations that are prescribed and explained, and there's work that you have to do to prepare yourself to develop the script that you're going to use in the meditation. So she's asking about the timing of the 4 meditations.
Okay, that document I sent you is already in all the courses that were mailed out, correct?
Yes, it doesn't have it has the 4 assignments, but we're going to add the recommendations.
The schedule.
Right, the schedule. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so was it Shante Diaz?
Yes.
Welcome. So there's a schedule, in about what is page 10. I don't know exactly how it breaks out, on your side, but there's a schedule that tells you, how to do the meditations. You see that day 1, 2, 3, meditation number 1. You see, day 4, 5, and 6. Meditations 1 and 2, and so on. There's a schedule that's given to you to pace you.
Yeah, so that'll be added. That'll be added tonight.
Right, and you don't want to miss, and it's very important not to miss the day. You see that?
Not to miss a day.
Not to miss a day, and it's recommended 21 consecutive days. Okay, that's the minimum. That's the required minimum to nail down important changes and put the system to work for you. But if you can go the 3 months of the winter, meaning December to March, go for it. You see that? Once you've done your 21 days, consecutive, without missing a day, then if you skip a day or 2 within the 3 months, it's okay. As long as, but my recommendation is do it every night. You see that? Then if you so choose, you can then know at the, in March, there will be another phase of meditations which will help you to awaken and develop all the chakras and spiritual faculties within you to make you more productive and ambitious and nimble, and elastic and, and creative in carrying out your projects, your life projects.
Mm-hmm. So welcome, Kimani Patterson. Kimani is one of the students in the Ma'at 11 Laws and other meditations that we've done. And she asked, does the solstice meditations take precedent over the meditations dedicated to the cycles of the moon, the new moon?
They do not take precedence. Okay. When you go through the meditations, you find that we recommend, about 30 minutes a day, which will give you time for another, 15 minutes meditation on the meditation for the month that we prescribe. Mm-hmm. You see that? And after a while, there's going to be a cumulative effect. It's like learning to play, a song on the guitar. You see that? At first, you practice every day, and once it is fully memorized, you don't have to keep practicing it every day. Every once in a while, you can do it to keep it, renewed in your mind. So there's this cumulative effect, which we will talk about, in other webinars, and I will have, from these questions that you are giving, we will, have a book, maybe a journal, where people can understand how to best, implement these things. We try not to give too many rules because people have different, personal agendas and challenges. Okay, so we don't want to make hard and fast rules so that people can accommodate, these things into their lives according to where they are and what they need and how much time and energy they have.
Okay, so Lillian, she said you didn't receive your login instructions, and for anyone else that's having that issue, Oftentimes when a person has more than one email address, that's usually what's going on. Because when you purchase the course, you put an email address in, and then you need to sign up for the SoundWise app, which is free, and make sure that you register with the SoundWise app with the same email address that you purchased the course with, and then you'll see the material in your library. If that doesn't happen, just send us an email. You can send an email to sales@comediclegacy.com. I'll put that up for everybody to see, and we'll get you straightened out. When you send that email, send your screenshot of your purchase to make it easy for us, and the email address that you used to register with SoundWise, and we can fix that for you. Let's see here. Okay, Brandy, the solstice starts on the 21st to the 24th, but the entire winter season begins with the new year, which is actually the 25th. So we'll be working over the next 3 months. And let's see here, we have...
It is important for people to understand that they cannot change their life with meditation done for one day, during the solstice, or for the 4 days of the solstice. It takes a little bit more work than that. And that's very important. All of the so-called professional scholars, that get on TV and talk about the solstice and Stonehenge, and the Mexican pyramids and the pyramids of Giza that are aligned with the sun at the solstice. All they can give you are speculations as to what is the purpose of the solstice. And that's because, number one, they limited the solstice to a one-day event, but it is the beginning of a 3-month, event. And that's what has confused them.
So this question may be more suited to Thursday when we have a course member webinar, but this is John Nosifora, and he asks, can the last stage of the meditation script, the visualization of enjoying a goal, be open-ended, like joyfully turning in a 2 weeks notice to quit a job because I no longer need it, but actually have no idea right now what would replace my current job?
No, that's fine, but I'd rather not give, a general answer for all contingencies, but that specific meditation script, that state that you put in place is fine. You can meditate on a specific date for something to happen, even though you don't know when that date will come, with the understanding, of course, though, that, your spirit will deliver, when it is ready. Your psyche will deliver when it is ready, provided that you have worked your meditation script properly. And you got to keep in mind that, in the achievement of your goals through meditation, the energy, the force to achieve it comes from your observance of the divine law in an enjoyable manner. Enjoy living the divine law. That's the engine for success. Okay, not the pleasure of achieving your goals. You see that? And that's the mistake that most people make in the world, is that they want to put their mind power on achieving things, focusing on enjoying that jet, that they're going to buy, or that yacht they're going to buy, the pleasure of that materialistic accomplishment is what they think is the engine of their success. And all the different guru of success that have made that mistake, the engine for your success, the force that's going to move your mission and your vision, is your enjoyment of being at peace through observing the divine laws, through your oneness with God. That's where the power comes from.
Okay, and Seshmi Katem asks, does this course offer suggestions or advice on food supplements that a person should take? And this is related to other questions in terms of fasting or austerities or things of that nature, is that recommended, or will that be also prescribed?
Well, what we will do, we will have some general information. In the past, we used to give, fasting and dietary advice, but our experience, was that, it's such a vast subject. You see that you can't even begin to give, enough needle turning, instructions. You see that? So beyond saying, to eat as clean as possible with a few tips here and there, there's not much that we, can say at this point, because a diet has to work, has to be, substantial. That information has to be substantial. You see that? You know, if I say to you, make sure that you get enough vitamin C, then is what kind of vitamin C should you be taking and how much? And do you have kidney stones? And, you know, do you have any other underlying conditions like asthma or COPD? So it becomes, it just simply ramifies in all directions.
Mhm. Okay, and as far as the official date of the program has started. It's time for you to prepare. The meditations over the 4 days of the actual solstice, Shechem Shechem, how important is that to the process that we're describing now with the 3-month program?
Can you rephrase the question a little different?
I'm saying for someone that might feel like the 4 days of the actual winter solstice, the 21st to the 24th, are the most receptive time, are the time that they must get all 4 of these meditations in. How important is that relative to the entire program, which now we're saying runs from from December, 25th to March 20th, or whatever it is for the equinox?
The meditations that you have to do have nothing to do, especially with the 4 days of the winter solstice. The winter solstice is nothing else but a marking point for the beginning of the winter phase of meditation, the winter meditation program. You see that? Okay, you're not going to achieve anything with just 4 days of meditation in any system. 4 days of psychiatrical therapy or psychoanalysis, just 4 days is not going to change you. You see that? That's just simply a markers that the winter solstice is saying, hey, guy, we are now entering a 3-month phase, a winter phase, okay? Where if you devote yourself to meditating at least 21 consecutive days or the entire winter, you will achieve, better results in your efforts to improve your life.
Okay, and Sharon Brown asks, Sharon, is the goal about what we want or what is in alignment with our reason for being? I guess she's talking about the goal setting or the visualization of achievements of our goals.
Well, that's a beautiful question. And I would like at some point to maybe devote a webinar, okay, to people. We'll have to be people enrolled in the course. When you study the meditation script, you see that. You find that the 4th step is what you want, as a result of living truth and being one with God. You see that? So you find that the spiritual life will assist your mundane needs. And the challenge to meet your mundane needs, will establish a field for you to, apply your spiritual, teachings. You see that? If I'm going to work on being, tolerant and being kind, okay, those are ethical and spiritual, values, okay? But I'm going to work on it within the mundane field of, dealing with others who challenge me to be ethical, and spiritual. You see that? Okay? And the thing is, if whoever lives truth will eventually experience a blessing as a result of living truth. This is love karma. So there is no difference between the mundane life properly lived through spiritual, properly achieved through spiritual means. You see that the spirit works for the earthly part of being, which works also for the spirit. It's all one seamless garment.
Okay, and we have Classic Cribble. Probably not pronouncing that right. Do several goals via different meditations obstruct each other, or all can be worked on concurrently without affecting each other? How many goals is best to work on at any given period?
You can work as many goals as you can multitask. You see that? If you're not a multitasker, then work with one or two goals and that's it. If you're a so-so multitasker, you might want to work on 3 or 4 goals. If you're a great multitasker, work on as much as you can, focus on, successfully. Just monitor. If you find yourself dropping things and forgetting this because you were overwhelmed or whatever, then scale back. So it's a matter of pacing yourself and being observant as to what you're doing. Some people multitask. I'm a multitasker. I write 3, 4 books at the same time. With a lot of distractions around me because I'm very focused. You see that?
Mm-hmm. And Hefen, I'm glad you asked this question. She's asking about spiritual readings. There's actually spiritual readings that are going to be done in Brooklyn, I believe on the 30th. So we can get you some more information about that. In fact, if anybody has the link that we used for people to sign up at the event we had this past Sunday, you could post that in the chat for us. But her question is, how do people know what's best to work on?
Well, one of the mantras in the course is Oser Om Oser Hum. The Hum in the Oser mantra awakens the wisdom faculty within you. You see that? So if you work on this course properly, you will get revelations from God communicating to you through your guru chakra, your tehuta faculty. You will get, intuitive guidance as to what you should work on or what your goals should be and how to proceed and so on. You see that? If you have access to a spiritual reader, with our oracular system, then more power to you. But but the thing is that, I designed this course because, I wanted to get to millions of people, to almost everybody out there, so, I could not make the course dependent, on receiving a spiritual reading. You see, the course, there's a faculty within your chakra systems and your spiritual faculty. Dear God, if you live the laws and did this meditation the right way, you will get revelations. You see that intuitive guidance, in what you need in life.
So Letitia and anyone else who ordered the course and you're not seeing the course, the email address to send a message to is up on your screen now. You should see it. It's sales@comediclegacy.com. Yeah, a lot of times people might put the email address in incorrectly when they order. It's usually what happens if you don't get an immediate email that gives you your login information and so forth. So we can get that straightened out for you. We have Atukwe. All right, welcome, Atukwe. Been steady on the case in the course and also sharing your your work and your questions. He asks, how do we process the perception of guilt when we fail to live up to the standards we are establishing in our meditation practice?
How do we process the perception of guilt? When you perceive guilt, you're perceiving a negative emotional reaction within you as a response to your awareness that you've done something wrong. You see that? Okay. So once you know that something is wrong, okay, you should be able to process, meaning think about the changes you need to make in your life and not repeat that wrong, and what amendments you can make to the person that you have wronged, and so on. So that's the way to process, guilt. See that if I hurt somebody because I stole from them, then I don't need wisdom. Fact open to tell me, hey, you hurt that person by stealing from them. Make a compensation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Jerome put this question in the chat. He says he's looking for advice for biracial children seek a spiritual solution to a racial identity crisis. That was his first question.
And there's another question. Okay, so first of all, he's seeking advice for biracial children who are seeking a spiritual solution to a racial identity crisis. Okay, I would need to know what that crisis is. I can speculate as to different kinds of things here, but one of the things that's a common thing that has happened over the years, to biracial children and people of biracial unions, where they are not fully embraced by either, side, of the population. You see that? And that's, on one hand, you cannot force the social environment to do the right thing. Okay. So it is up to the person who's the victim of that, injustice to respond to that scenario through the Osir faculty of the spirit, which governs the ability to be one with all, even though others have rejected you. You see that? Okay. But that will require, that will be, a project that will require, an expert priest and priestess to help write the proper, scripts, meditation scripts, and, spiritual readings. And it's something that would take some time because it can go to a very deep, hurts, trauma that are deep down into the psyche. So, but we have priests and priestesses that can assist with that matter and things of that nature. You see that?
Well, Shechem, that definitely brings up something that's happening with a lot of us. Two questions about that. If this gentleman is speaking about his child or a child that he is in his sphere of influence, at what point or age, or how would we gauge the ability to involve young people in meditation or scripted meditations? And
Well,
second, okay.
Yeah, first of all, we default to the psychobiological, fact that the brain needs 28 years to mature. You see that? Okay, if you're a youngster under 28 years, your insurance for a car can cost more than the car itself because your brain is not fully developed yet. So the thing is that if you have a young person, under 28, that is involved in the crisis as the one that has been identified, that person may not be mature enough to process, even with meditation or whatever, what is required to adjust. But we just can't go from age because there are people who never mature. You know, they are 60, 70 years old, 80 years old, and still immature. You know, and we're not talking about intellectual. We talk about emotional as well as intellectual maturity. The two have to go together. You see that? But one of the things that we have experienced in the 50 years of Osada said is that, you know, if a person, this is an adult now in the situation, you know, that needs to help a child, if that adult fully embraces the spiritual teachings and observe the laws, that person can do the meditation on behalf of the child. And we've seen that work tremendously well. You see that? You know, and there's nothing special about Kemetic and yoga, whatever. Any Christian, you know, died in the world Christian will talk about praying for others, the power of praying for others. You see that? So, yes, we have meditations and mantras and scripts that can be used by the adult, you know, in that relationship on behalf of the children. Just not only for the kind of crisis that is being spoken of here, but for anything, you know, you can meditate for your child to get A's in college and high school. You can meditate for, you know, your child to change the bad company that they're keeping and things of that nature. And if you live in the truth, because first of all, if you're going to pray for others and do meditation for others, you have to be living the truth yourself.
All right. Well, second, we are past the hour. So let's see here. Yeah, I think we have some of the questions are repetitive. Can you explain the cycle? And yes, we have a lot of appreciation. Can you explain? Let's see here. Linda asked, can you explain being in the Seek cycle? Does this influence the winter solstice? I'm not sure.
What cycle?
SEEK. I'm not familiar with that reference. Oh, Sebek. Okay. All right. That was a spell check, right?
Okay, yeah.
Sebek cycle.
Sebek cycle. Okay.
Sebek is talking with the.
Can you explain being in the Sebek cycle? Does this influence the winter solstice? And the answer is not really. You see that the changes that the winter solstice, you know, announces. And let's remember, keep in mind that the work is not limited to the winter solstice. The winter solstice is the beginning point of the work for the next 3 months. You see that? So you're going to be doing the meditation in the Sebek cycle, you know, in the Osset cycle that follows it, and in the Heru cycle that ends it. You see that? So you will be dealing with, you know, the different parts of your spirit and things of that nature. Okay, and but the Sebek, you know, might just bring you different type of challenges that you will have to maneuver through, you know, but you're going to respond with the same spiritual laws, the same faculties, and so on. And this Sebek cycle has been very important, very interesting, bringing us, situations where we are experiencing more and more Sebekian type of activities, such as politicians telling lies, you know, or being selfish, you know, and things of that nature. They just simply give us material to work with, but they don't change how we work on them.
Mm-hmm. So that question kind of goes along. People are asking about, they're asking about the meditation journal. They're asking about the monthly cycle. And I know you mentioned past Sunday and before that there's also a plan to be doing monthly meditations around the nectar of the month. How will that interface with the 3 months of winter solstice work or winter season work?
Well, you're working on the winter season do what? To renew your relationship with God. You see that? And to purify your Swadhisthana chakra, the chakra that governs your survival instincts, one of the deepest chakras, psychical forces within you. You see that? Okay. The the full moon ritual for that we're in right now is the Sevic cycle. Okay. They are not, every aspect of your being, every theme of life, is interrelated. They're all interrelated with each other. So it's up to you to find, how the winter solstice, the winter phase meditations interact with the meditation of the month according to your personal experiences. But that's a bridge that we will close, that we will cross when we begin those monthly meditations. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And those monthly meditations will begin, in the Osset period, yes, which follows the Sebic period here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And people will get a chance to, Osset, it all depends on, every person will apply it to the theme of Osset that will be worked on to what is going on in their lives. You see that?
Sure.
So we cannot establish a hard and fast rule as to what you're going to work on. It depends on what is going on in your life. You will know how to apply it in that manner.
Well, the great part is we're going to be together through this process for 90 days. Shante DSC asked an interesting question. She says, can you create scenarios for your meditation scripts around ill conduct in your most recent dreams? And I say that's interesting, Shekim, because I know over the years, students have experience where they might have overcome something, or let's say they haven't done something physically, but they find themselves indulging it in a dream.
Yeah, well, you haven't done something physically because you are awake and your will is very active and able to control your behavior. You see that? But the goal of transcending is to be able to do the right thing, automatically and reflexively, not as an act as a reflex and not as an act of the will. So that when you are misbehaving in your dreams, the dream is telling you, okay, you're making progress in the waking state, but you still have more work to do. Double down and you double up on your meditations, on those problems. You still have more work to do. That's all they're saying. Mm-hmm. You see that?
Mm-hmm. And Haras asks, how can you deal with and overcome lust using this?
Well, overcoming lust, one of the meditations, for this course here is your oneness with God. Okay. And it's based on you giving respect to God, knowing that God is private to all your thoughts and feelings. You see that? So, so when you have a lustful thought and energy in your mind, you might be saying to yourself, okay, it's okay, but because I'm not manifesting it outwardly. But now you know that God is present watching you give in to this lust in your mind. So are you going to misbehave in the face of God or not? So that reality will help you to change. If that doesn't help you, I don't know what will. Mm-hmm. But this is powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm. On that note, Shekim, at what point are we responsible for reflexive thoughts that might come to a person versus responsible for entertaining, indulging those thoughts?
Well, if you have a thought that you should not entertain, you must work. You have to create a script and get rid of it through the script. You see that, and it will be reflexive, and automatic as long as you haven't done the work. If you do the work, eventually it will go. You see that. So that's your level of responsibility to do the script and do the work. So if you know that you have this thought and you don't do the script, you don't do the work, then you're responsible.
Thank you, Anson47. Person asked, do you have a Patreon account? I'd like to contribute to this context. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, and we will be working with the super chat function and all of that in the future, very shortly. And let's see. So I know we are against the clock, Shechem. I think at this point we can hold any other questions. We are having a session on Thursday night. That's going to be for course members only. So if you have questions about the specific course and how to work with the scripts and all of that, you'll have lots of opportunity there. And I want to encourage you to put your questions and your feedback inside the app so that we can have that lined up and ready for Thursday. So, sir, I will give you the last word here. Let me get this down to close us out for tonight.
There are many people today on the internet trying to create fame for themselves and wealth that are giving the world spiritual advice with information that they have amassed through research but have not verified through practice. And when it comes to spirituality, which is your means of transcending the ills of the lower part of your being, to make a better life for yourself, to improve your health, your relationships, and your wealth, it's very critical to have the right information. So in this course that I've put together, this is about the 10th version of the course that we have evolved for the general public. Well, we have been, teaching this course for the past 45 years, in the 50 years of our organization, throughout the world. So all I can say to you is that take your time and give thoughts to coming and joining with us and working together so that we can, learn from a verified, system, yes, that will enable you and us to improve, this world. The world is in trouble. Okay, not that people have become more wicked or whatever. It's that technology has given, people, such power that a handful of people can create tremendous destruction and damage in the world. And only spiritual people, it's not the young or the old or the whites or the black or the this or the that, spiritual people, no matter what walk of life. You see that? But spirituality is something that has to be studied. It has to be studied assiduously as you would any other discipline, in life. You have to bring to it the same kind of, devotion that you would bring to becoming a doctor, to becoming a concert artist, and then some, because spirituality challenges you at the core of your being. Yes, sir. So we need a plethora of spiritually enlightened people. So let's work together to increase the number of spiritual teachers. I'm talking about you. The number of spiritual exemplars. I'm talking about you. People who want to be the living temple for God to come into this world and spread its truth and its power. Peace and blessings to all of you. See you in a couple of days.
Thank you so much, Shechem. Please hold on. I'm going to give you a link to get to tomorrow's. In fact, let me put it up right now. You can look up this person, Brother Rich, Black Magic 360 3 on YouTube, and he's going to be doing an extensive interview with Shechem Shechem tomorrow night from 9 to 10:30. So we want to thank you, Shechem Shechem, for your dedication, your devotion. It's 3 nights in a row. And we want to leave you with the words of power and peace. Anet Shechem Shechem.
Rakate po.
Thank you so much. All right. So yes, tomorrow night, let me just share his page for you, so you can see his YouTube channel. He goes by the handle of Black Magic. That's with a K, 363. And you can look him up on YouTube. He'll be going live with Shechem or Shechem at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And they're going to spend a good hour or so or more together and get some other insight and some other, perspective on the work that's being done and the importance of it. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. So thank you for being with us. I saw some questions about the journal. Yes, we are still shipping the journal as well as the Ma'at 11 Laws Workbook, which is very helpful. We have something called the Ultimate Journal that combines the Ma'at 11 Laws Workbook, the Comedic Meditation Journal, and the Comedic Calendar together in one bundle. Oh, and I forgot the most important thing. For those of you that are brand new, if you want to get this course, the course is $35. It's a wonderful offering to the community to get involved in intense spiritual work. And you can get it right here at this address, tinyurl.com/Kamit. That's KAMIT, Winter Solstice 2023. A one-time payment. It's not $35 a month. It's $35. And you'll be able to work these meditations, get this information, and also be a part of a cohort of people that are going to be going through this 90-day experience together. So again, tinyurl.com/Winter Solstice 2023. Get yourself engaged in the course. If you have any issues getting signed up, then just send us an email at sales@comediclegacy.com. All right. I'm going to play a little commercial for you about the journal before we close it out here. What makes this a comedic meditation journal is that it's organized around the principles of the ancient Egyptian spiritual system, which holds that the one supreme being, Nebuchadnezzar, the Lord of all, administrates the world through a host of faculties that are known as the Neteru. This has been translated in other traditions as archangels. So these Neteru are the faculties of your spirit that you, being made in a divine likeness, have access to and actually depend on for your success. Now, when we say faculties, just imagine your memory, for example. That's a faculty of your mind. And if your memory was somehow damaged, you would find it difficult to learn anything, to retain anything, to be able to function on a job, in a relationship, as a parent, anything. So you depend on that faculty for your success in your life. Well, in the same manner, you have 11 spiritual faculties that are the indwelling intelligences designed to enable you to be successful in all areas of life. And these 11 faculties are symbolized by the Neteru of the Kemetic spiritual system. We're talking about Oset, Heru, Sebek, Tehuti, Ma'at, Sekert, and so on. Now, like we would think about an appliance or a power tool, each of these faculties is energized by a force. And these forces can be classified in different ways. The sevenfold classification is what we are familiar with in the West that expresses itself as the 7 days of the week, for example. In astrology, that's your 7 basic planets and luminaries: Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. Now, there is a science hidden in plain sight that has come down to us through the millennia, all the way back from ancient Kemet, of a calendar that holds the schedule of these forces. Now, that doesn't mean you only have access to these powers or these faculties on their day or in their month. The calendar simply maps the strengthening and weakening of the underlying force that powers that faculty. And you'll see this expressed in astrology as events in the world, events in your life will tend to occur in the periods of the strengthening of a particular Neteru. Say, for example, through divination, you determine that Herukahuti plays a principal role in your life. You'll notice that critical challenges and also opportunities or counsel from other people will appear on Tuesdays, or will happen, major things will happen in the cycle of Herukahuti. This becomes a powerful force of confirmation for your work. The main benefit of having the calendar is for you to be able to schedule your meditations, your meetings, your critical events in the cycles that support the success of your enterprise. Or even further, to be able to see how each cycle contributes because of its faculty to the success of your long-term project. Included in your planner each month is an evaluation sheet for you to look at how you've been expressing that energy in your life so that you can nourish the netter. The netter is the archetype of the highest expression of that energy as a divine faculty, meaning it's expressing itself according to its true and highest purpose and in harmony with the whole of all 11 faculties and the One.
Tell me, 'cause I wanna know the truth. Tell me. I'm on a journey to find peace within my life. It's time to let go so I can climb to new heights. Nothing can stop me, I know, gonna make it to the end. Love is on my side, and I'm sure I'm gonna win. I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth. Yeah. Can you tell me? Tell me. I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth. I want to know the truth. Can you tell me? It's been a long time that I've been searching for then one thing that makes my life complete. And I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna be strong. 'Cause in my heart, so many illusions, so much confusions. I need a strong foundation. sacrifice the wrong.
Check. How can I find the truth? Let me count the ways. I can focus on my ancestors to brighten up my day. I can listen to a sage or an elder's wise words. Try some deep meditation where the Most High is served. Because the truth is beautiful, like children playing in the park. Or inside of rhyme ciphers where genius is spark. Be the dark, the light, and all the time that's in between. And you can find mad truth inside of trance states and dreams. Listen to that little voice, it be telling you for true. And with a bit of divination, show you what you gonna do. Whether it comes abstract or the stone hard fact. Cause if it comes from God, it be the truth, that's that. Yo, no need to question, just learn the lesson. And ain't no stretching cause it's truth we're manifesting. Like what? Like what? What? 1, 2, I wanna know
Can
the
you
truth.
tell me? Can you let me know? I need to know the truth. Can you tell me? I really want to know the truth. I wanna know. I gotta know. I need to know the truth. I wanna know. I gotta know. I need to know the truth. I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey. I'm finding my life. Yeah. Nothing can stop me. I'm gonna make it to the end. Love is on my side, and I know I'm gonna win. Oh, I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth.